Ooh, okay.
And we can definitely hear Dolly licking that peanut butter in the background.
Oh, well,
so that's good.
You know.
Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
We've just been hanging out, so.
We have been.
Just chilling, catching up, talking about life.
Yep.
You know, the usual.
Yeah, visiting your apartment like once a year, you know.
Yeah, so Emily texted me on her way here, and she's like, what's your address? And I'm like, excuse me? Do you not know where I live?
Okay, and I do know where you live. I just don't know how to get there.
That's okay. I forgive you.
And I used to come from the city, and now I'm just coming from St. Peter's, so it's a totally different route. Yeah. So you can't blame me.
I'm so glad that you moved closer out here. I mean,
it is nice.
I didn't mind, like, driving out to come visit you guys, but, yeah, it's definitely better having you closer.
Yeah, it is nice.
Yeah.
And, like, where I'm at, like, I'm off the highway, so it's not bad to go into the city. It's not bad, like, even coming out further, so.
Right. Dolly, what are you doing? My dog is going to make some appearances on this episode.
Yeah.
I gave her a bone, and she ate the bone. She finished it, like, right before we started recording, of course, so.
2 guests.
Hopefully she will calm down. We'll see. Be good.
She just wants to be a star, and don't dim her shine.
I'm sorry, Dolly. I love you. What is she doing?
Let her be. She's fine.
Okay. Let me know if she does anything naughty.
Oh, I will.
She will, Dolly, where even are you?
She's right here.
She's right there.
She's just chilling with me.
She's good. Anyways. Okay. I'm going to ask you some questions to get this going.
Yes.
So, first I'm going to ask you a little bit about music.
Okay.
I'm not going to ask you about MMA because I know that's not, like, your thing.
It is not my thing. It is not my thing. I appreciate the sport. The punching, I don't, I'm like a pacifist a bit, so, like, the whole fighting for sport, it doesn't sit right in my stomach.
I remember the first time you watched the fights with me, and you were like, oh my god, are they going to give him CPR? And I'm like, dude, this happens, like, every time that they have fights.
But,
like somebody gets choked out.
Let's talk about it for a second, because I get it, how we had to do that for survival a very long time ago, and I get, like, you know, wanting to punch someone, but, like, why as a sport? Where you are...
Because it's all the technique, so it's mixed martial arts.
But, yes, I understand that. But then, like, to get to the point where you're getting, like, cauliflower ear and broken noses, like, why would you do that to your delicate human body?
For glory!
I don't know about that, but...
It's okay. One day you'll understand.
I mean, I appreciate the sport of it. I just don't like broken noses.
You're a little squeamish. That's okay.
I am.
There's actually a lot of people I know that, like, they really, like, want to, like, enjoy the fights, but they're like, I just can't do it.
Well, so my brother does jiu-jitsu, and he's great at it, and, like, that's cool, but I just, like, the whole, like, bloody mess, like, I don't love.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel like the first time, like, I watched fights, I was kind of like, oh, okay. But then I got used to it. That was when I was, like, younger, because my dad always watched the fights.
I'm also, you know, wondering, like, do these people need therapy? Like, yeah, no. I'm like, why are we taking it out like this? But to each their own. To each their own.
For reference, Emily is a therapist.
I am.
She would like some more customers. I'm just kidding.
I mean, I do. I'm changing things up a bit. So, yeah, check out my website.
Okay, so my first question is, what song do you have on repeat right now?
Oh, God. Okay. I don't have a specific song, but I have a playlist where it's Sam Smith and Ariana Grande, and it is, like, my go-to. Yeah. I also used to super be into music, like, high school, college, and it, like, dropped off for a while, and I'm just now getting back into music.
I feel like I have phases, too.
Yeah, so I'm, like, I feel like I'm rediscovering things and, like, igniting my love for, like, the music that I, like, played nonstop in, like, high school. Because, you know, we never move out of that, do we?
No. Even middle school stuff, like, I still listen to.
Yeah.
Like, I used to be, like, an emo kid in middle school.
Oh, Brie, the photos. I wish I knew you back then. I really do.
Dude, oh, man.
See, and I like the emo music, but I sadly never went through, like, the big hair, the eyeliner. I never went through that phase.
Oh, you missed out.
I did miss out.
You missed out. I got made fun of a lot.
Oh, darn, I'm mad I missed out on that.
Yeah, you missed out. It was great. Good times.
Well, you know, I went to a Catholic school with uniforms, so, like, the most, like, accessorizing we could do was, like...
I mean, I went to a Catholic school for a little bit, so
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you could change your socks. Oh, your shoes. So, you know.
Yeah, you gotta have those fresh kicks on.
You do.
Catholic school.
It was.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's the only way to, like, really express yourself.
What is on your music rotation lately?
So, it's just been a lot of different things. I'm trying to think of, like, well, I've been listening to NF's new song, which I talked about in my last episode.
Uh-huh.
I'm listening to that, like, every single day. It's, like, my motivation for the day.
So, speaking of when you were like, oh, new clients, because I'm in this phase where I am kind of like redoing my business. I'm also getting married in July, so right now my business has my last name in it, and I'm changing my last name. So I'm like, we're just gonna like revamp it all.
I love that for you.
I love it too. So I mean, it's just time.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at my Apple Music right now because that's what I use, and I made a playlist. It's called "Working on My Energy," also a song on repeat. Another one, "Nice for What" by Drake. That's my like go-to turn up the volume all the way in the car song.
Yeah.
That's
a
my
good song.
It is.
I know a lot of people that don't like Drake. I have always liked Drake from day one. Like, I've always been a fan of Drake.
Too. Okay, high school. Back to high school. I had friends I worked with and then friends I went to school with, and we would ride around and play it. And I think there was a song with him and Gucci Mane. I can't remember what it was. Or maybe they were just both popular at the same time. Like,
Probably.
something came out, and like, I remember my friend talking so much trash on Drake, and I was like, no, he's gonna be big, like he's gonna do big things. And now I'm just like, look at this. We were on it from day one.
Facts.
I'm a fan of
Well, and
Drake.
he was on Degrassi. Like, I remember him from Degrassi, and then he became a rapper, and then I was like, oh, that's a guy from Degrassi! Like, literally, that was my thought.
I just discovered Degrassi in adulthood.
Really?
And I was pretty convinced that that's exactly what public school was like. So now whenever I watch it, I have to ask Montel if, like, that's what happens at public school. And he's like, no. So...
It's literally the most unrealistic public school ever.
So we also, like, stopped watching it midway through. So I just found out, if no one's watched it before, this is a... What's it called when you give away details of a show?
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
I'm pretty sure probably
20 years
everyone's
later.
watched Degrassi by
Okay,
now.
well, I hadn't, but Liberty's pregnant.
Yeah, I think everybody's... Even people that didn't watch Degrassi probably know that.
Okay, well, I didn't, but that's where we left off, and I want to get back to it.
That was actually, like... That was, like, when Degrassi was in its prime, though. Like, that was, like, the, like, good episode.
It's so good, but, I mean, yeah, Drake was a little cutie on that show, and he grew into, like, a little cutie rapper, and now he's, like, doing big things, so.
Yeah, I'll always be a fan of Drake.
I will, too.
Yeah. I mean, when I'm looking at, like, my top 10 list of rappers,
Uh-huh.
I don't really, like, see Drake in that. But I do, like, I love his music, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like word-wise and, like, I don't know, putting things together, it's good, but I don't know if he'd be top.
Right.
But I just like all of it together.
But it's like a vibe.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. That is a vibe. Yeah.
It's calming. It's, like, chill. It's, yeah. And, like, he kind of sings, too. Like, it's not just rap. Like, he sings a little bit. Like, he actually has a good singing voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was, like, so, speaking of, like, my song on repeat, which that song's called Hope, he was, like, singing in the beginning of that song, which, like, listening to, have you ever listened to NF?
I don't think so.
He's an interesting guy.
Okay.
He doesn't curse in any of his music. It's really interesting. But, like, I don't know, a lot of what he says is, like, probably, like, a little bit more, like, motivational. He talks a lot about mental health. He talks about just stuff like that, like, a lot of, I guess, like, a lot of rappers don't really talk about. Or even just music in general.
Yeah.
But, yeah, in the beginning of the song, he was, like, singing, and I'm like, oh, he actually has a good voice. Like, I love when that happens, like, or, like, when I first heard, like, Post Malone singing, like, country music.
I love Post Malone.
Same.
Like, all these videos of him dancing at his concerts. I'm like,
Yes!
you are, like, such a cutie. Like, and that's my go-to for when I'm, like, I'm not specifically attracted to you, but you are like,
Yeah.
your whole vibe is so cute.
Yes. Yeah. His vibe is a 10.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I want him to be my best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Posty. We friend zoned you.
I think, you know.
But yeah, I mean, his music is so good, but also, like, seeing him in different elements is really interesting, too. Like, when he did a cover of... Jesus. He did a cover of a Sturgill Simpson song.
Oh.
Which is country music. You can hear Dolly's licking in the microphone.
Hi,
Dolly,
guest
is this
star.
necessary? She's like,
Okay.
I really want to be on the podcast, guys. I have a lot to talk about.
You'll be featured one day. Don't worry, babe.
Yeah, but anyways, great stuff. Post Malone's awesome.
Yeah. I'll have to listen to this person you're talking about. NF?
Yeah. You have to watch the video.
Okay.
Because it's, like, cinematic.
Isn't NF like a thing? Like a picture or something?
No, I think it's just his initials.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, NF though. Like when people are like an NF. Like, isn't that... Never mind.
I don't know.
Okay.
It might be a thing, but I don't know. I'm not cool enough to know about it.
Yeah, I mean, we're like young, but we're like...
We're, like, getting to that stage where, like, we sound like old people.
Oh, my clients tell me all the time. They're like, no.
They're like, cringe.
Yeah, literally all the time.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with.
It's fine. I seriously, like, don't even care, like, if stuff is cringe. And, like, when I first, like, decided I was gonna, like, do my YouTube channel and, like, do the podcast, I was like, oh, this is gonna be so cringe. But I'm like, who cares?
No, who
Like,
cares?
literally, who cares? By the time, like, I get to the point where, like, a lot of people are actually listening to it and watching it, then hopefully by then it won't be as cringe. But
Well, and you'll feel more comfortable and even, like, care less, hopefully.
yeah. Well, that's the thing is, like, I just don't even care.
Yeah.
Like, because if you're watching my content and watching or listening to the podcast because you don't like me, then that says more about you than it does about me.
Well, and it's,
so
like, yeah, you're not going to change. They have that in their head already,
yeah.
so.
I'm like, I'm not going to change who I am.
Yeah.
So, because it's just so much less exhausting to just be yourself.
Oh, my gosh,
When
yeah.
you're trying to be a certain persona or a certain way, like, especially I feel like that happens a lot when people do YouTube or podcasts. Like, they have this whole persona they put on it. It's like...
Which, like, makes sense because it is. Like, you know what sells, you know what catches attention,
Yep.
and you want to do well, and you also want to... I think sometimes, too, like, people don't want to give their full selves because you do want some of that, like, privacy
Yep.
for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but it's so exhausting sometimes, like, because I feel like when I first started doing the content, I was trying a little bit more to, like, make it a little bit more polished and, like, just plan it out a little bit more, and now I literally am just real.
Going with it?
So real now.
I mean, that's
and
almost...
it's so, like, I don't know, it's like, I feel relieved.
I was going to say, like, as a therapist, I feel like I used to try and, like, plan out every session, like, this activity and this activity, and then, like, I'm going to touch on this. And some sessions are like that, but, like, I noticed that a lot more of my organic sessions, like, they're just, like, so much more useful to the client. They, you know, are making progress faster. And so it is. It's, like, I'm so afraid of, like, not living up to expectations I'm setting for myself. And then when I talk to other therapists, it's like they all feel the same way.
Right.
You know, so it's like you don't need to try and be perfect. Just, like, be yourself. And all the research shows, like, something that's, like, very productive and, like, helping with someone progress in therapy is, like, the rapport you have with each other. So it's, like, create a good relationship, and that's what matters most, which is, like, being authentic. Instead of, like, planning things, like, constantly.
Yeah. Yeah, because then it's just like, if it doesn't go to plan, then you're like, oh, what do I do?
Yes.
And that's how I've always felt, like, being in sales. It's just like, I would have an idea of how I wanted the conversation to go, and then there would be, like, a curveball thrown at me.
Yeah.
And then I wouldn't know what to do. Like, my whole process was messed up because I'm like, oh, I thought you were going to say this. Now I'm, like, frozen because I don't know what to say. Yeah, I get that for sure. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you some questions about music.
Okay.
More questions about music. Who's your favorite, like, band or musician currently? Like, right now?
Oh, currently. I don't know. I have a really hard time, like, picking favorites.
I feel that.
Like, newer people, I like Olivia Rodrigo.
Okay.
Yeah, that's her name, right? I think.
Yes.
Okay.
I've only listened to a little bit of her stuff.
When you first
I like
asked, I was gonna say like Lil Wayne, but that's like old Lil Wayne. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know currently. Like, I'm definitely listening more to like audiobooks more than music in my free time.
Yeah.
And I'm again like so stuck in like, hi girl, in like older music that I don't know. I haven't like taken a look at fresh music lately.
Yeah.
So all recommendations are welcome.
Well, we kind of talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, so your favorite... Now I'm going to ask you, like, your favorites of all time.
Oh, okay.
So, favorite... I'm going to ask you first your favorite album of all time.
Well, girl, I don't know that stuff. I don't know. Like, I literally do not pay attention to albums. Like, I wish...
Favorite song of all time.
I don't have favorites, but what I do go to...
Top 3.
I don't... Okay. No, don't have top 3 or nothing like that. But, like, 90s R&B... I always go to, like, early 2000s.
Well, that always slaps.
It always slaps. Like, who can be mad at that? Like,
Yeah.
when people are like, no one dislikes it. Let's be real.
Facts.
I don't know. I'm really bad at having top things and favorite things. I should have prepped.
That's okay. It took me a while to think of mine, too. And I'm sure,
let me scroll. If
I think mine will
scroll,
change, too. I think mine will change,
that's
like, every
the hard
year.
part. Mine change all the time.
Yeah.
Actually, you know who I've been liking more and more? Daniel Caesar has been, like, a new one that I've been liking.
That's one that I started listening to that I kind of forgot about.
Yeah. I mean, he's been around, but, like, I've just gotten back into him.
I haven't listened to him in a while. But for, like, when I first started listening to him, I, like, binge listened to him.
Oh, same.
So I was like, oh, this is freaking awesome.
Who is this? Oh, I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but I think his name is Anees, Anees.
I've heard of that.
He's got, like, curly hair, mustache.
I think I follow him on Instagram.
Yeah, you might. But, like, those two have been in my rotation. And this doesn't answer your top 3 question, but those have been newer people that I'm, like... And not Daniel Caesar I've been listening to for a while, but yeah, he's, like, dipped in and out. Yeah. Also, I have a confession. I'm a believer. Not an old school believer, but, like, a new school believer.
That's hilarious, because almost nobody's like that,
Okay.
I feel like.
Okay.
Maybe some people are, I don't know.
Oh my gosh, I play it all the time when I'm driving with Montel. What is the song?
I feel like most people got into Justin Bieber, like, when he was, like, a kid.
Yeah, no, and I did not. I was, like, anti-Justin Bieber, even though, like, Usher...
So was I. Actually, now that I think about it, I do like Justin Bieber better now than I did before. I'm still not a huge fan, but I feel like he has, like, grown a lot as an artist.
Yeah. Some of, like, whoever puts his music together, like, the producers...
Oh, it's amazing.
They are the ones behind it.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm trying to think of the song, but I cannot think of it. It's got, like, a choir behind it. I'll think of it at some point.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite genre of music?
Duh.
Okay. Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
We're getting somewhere.
R&B and, like, neo soul, I really, really like. I think just, again, because, like, that's what I latched onto in, like, high school. And, like, it feels good.
Yeah. It's always a good vibe. Like, especially when you're just trying to, like, relax.
Yeah.
It's always nice, like, at nighttime. It's the best nighttime music.
See, and I feel like it's got such different vibes. It's got, like, such a sexy vibe. It's got such, like, a confidence vibe. It's got such, like, a connecting vibe, like, connecting with, like, other people.
Yes.
And it's just, like, I feel like I'm, like, a romantic at heart, and I love all of the, like, cheesy, like, R&B songs about love.
I kind of like that, too, sometimes, though.
Yeah.
Especially, like, I mean, obviously, I like the newer stuff, but also, like, the old school stuff. Like, sometimes I'll listen to, like, not that it's R&B, but I feel like it's kind of the roots that R&B was influenced from is, like, Billie Holiday and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That always, like, puts me in a good mood when I listen to it.
Yes.
Like, every time.
Yeah.
And it's such good, like, Sunday night cleaning the kitchen music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know why, but I associate a lot of music with, like, activities that I like to do while I'm listening to the music. I feel like that's a big thing for me.
And my hard thing is I have learned for myself, I cannot really listen to music and do other things.
Really?
No, when I am working on things, I cannot have other music going. Like, I can't have an audiobook going. Like, I have to have the quiet, and I like the quiet.
Audiobooks are tough. I think it depends on what I'm doing.
And, like, podcasts, love podcasts, but, like, I cannot play them while I'm trying to do work. If I am cleaning the house, if I'm, like, hanging around the house, cool.
Yeah.
But, like, I cannot do it while I'm working.
That's fair. I feel like there are certain types of music that are hard to listen to when you're working.
That's true.
When you're just doing stuff around the house, like cleaning, you can pretty much put on anything.
Yeah.
But, yeah, sometimes it's, like, just very distracting.
Yeah.
But, anyways. Okay, next question. What do you listen to when you are sad?
Oh, I think that's my, like, Olivia Rodrigo. Sometimes I listen to, like, musicals, like Rent and stuff, like those sad.
Interesting.
I know, right? When I'm sad, I also listen to, like, meditations, which is also lame, but...
No, I don't think that's lame. I think a lot of people do that, actually.
I, like, you know, with my clients, I'm like, yeah, like, you know, part of some of the therapy is, like, let's make a sad playlist. Let's make a, like, let's pick up my spirits playlist. Mm-hmm. But, like, I've never made a sad playlist myself. But I think sometimes I listen to Beyonce because it's a mix of, like, it doesn't make me feel sadder, but it just, like, feels honest, I guess.
It feels relatable.
Yeah, relatable.
Yeah. Yeah, her music is like that. Because she has, like, songs where she's, like, mad at her boyfriend or I guess mad at Jay-Z. Depends on which era of Beyonce we're talking about, I guess.
Yeah.
And then she has songs where she's like, I am that bitch.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know? So, I love Beyonce.
Who's your go-to for sad?
Country music.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think what else. Definitely country music, because I feel like a lot of country music's really depressing too.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then I also, it depends on why I'm sad, probably, or like why I'm in a bad mood.
Yes.
But if I'm like straight up depressed, I'm going on a country music binge for sure.
I'm like on a silent binge. I'm looking at my, I keep going back to my
Sometimes you need that.
I keep going back to my Apple Music because I rely heavily on their playlist and ones that are already curated. And, I have a Feelings Hurt.
Do you have Spotify?
I used to have Spotify, but Montel pays for Apple Music, so I'd be using Apple Music. Because I had free Spotify, but then I was like, Apple Music, like, that's what works. Favorite song? No, I do have one. It says Sad Girl Shit, and I only have 2 songs on it. Easy on Me by Adele and I Hate You by SZA.
Okay. I love SZA, by the way.
My cousin just went to her concert in Chicago. So jealous.
I love her.
Yeah.
Love her.
Well, same
I
was
was
native.
so I don't really watch Saturday Night Live that much anymore.
I don't.
So I heard that song on TikTok, the cuffing season song.
Yeah.
Like Big Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to get copyrighted, so I'm not going to sing it, but...
Oh, my bad. I was going to play something earlier, I thought about that.
Yeah, you're like, wait, Bree's podcast is going to get deplatformed. No, but I listened to that on, like, I heard, like, it was, like, trending on TikTok, the audio, and I was like, ooh, this is a good song, and then I tried to find it, and then I realized that it was just a skit for Saturday Night Live.
Oh,
like,
really?
It wasn't actually...
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I thought it was a legit song. Like, it's actually a bop.
Oh, it is a bop.
I'm like, I was so disappointed that it wasn't really a song. I'm like, I feel like everything is a lie.
Is that
like,
your type? Do you want, like, a big boy?
I don't know. I don't know if that's my type. And I don't know what she means by big boy either.
I mean, I think it's to each their own, but I feel like it's like a huskier boy, you know?
Like taller, bigger, just bigger.
Broader.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know.
I actually don't think I've actually heard the whole song. I've just heard literally that line.
Yeah, I think I watched, like, part of it on TikTok, but I never actually, like, watched the whole thing.
I feel like I'm decently out of touch with, like, a lot of media.
There's too much.
Yeah.
There's too much. I cannot keep track of everything.
No. I'm on, like, an audiobook Renegade right now, and so, like, that's what I spend my free time on instead of, like, I have been watching a little Netflix. But, like...
Oh, well, everybody.
I feel like, exactly, I go in phases where I'm, like, listening to a ton of music, listening to a ton of books, or watching shows. Like, it's just, like, I can't do it all at once. I have to, like, focus on one thing at a time.
Okay, so what type of audiobooks do you like to listen to?
I like
Let's talk about
that. I like to listen to a lot of them. I'm in a book club right now, so I always do that one. I'm currently listening to Prince Harry's Spare, which is his like autobiography memoir, and very interesting. I would recommend. I do a mix of books. I like mystery books. I like romance ones. I like steamy ones sometimes too. I would say my favorite though is like fantasy, like Neil Gaiman. I listen to a ton of his stuff. He does like fantasy, kind of like superhero-esque stuff. He did like American Gods, which was really good. It just came out, I think on Hulu. What is it called? I was just talking about it earlier today. But I like him because I just feel like in my line of work, like I'm just dealing with so many people's personal stories. It's like I like to get lost in fantasy, and it feels nice to come home and just like dive into it.
I've heard other people say that before too.
Yeah.
And I feel like that has a big impact on the content that you consume because if your job is like that where you're literally talking to people and having deep conversations with people all day long.
Yeah.
So you don't want to go and, listen to an audiobook about like business or something. Like you want to listen to something that's going to give you an escape.
Yeah.
To get you like your mind just like relaxed.
Sandman is the series that I love.
Sandman. What's
that? It's one of his works. It's like, I think it's I know it's a graphic novel. It started as a graphic novel, but they have like a whole cast that does it on Audible, and it's just like so good. It's almost like you're listening to a movie because they have background noises, they have actors playing it. It's really good.
I like that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Because there was another book that I read, I think it was like in high school. I didn't feel like reading the book, so I got an audiobook. That was like the first time I ever got an audiobook. And it had like the background noises and stuff like that, but I never have really listened to anything like that since then. So I
like it.
Check it out.
And for me, like, I don't know, there's all different styles of learning, but like I notice when I read a book, I don't always remember it, but if I listen to a book, like I remember it much more.
I never remember when I read.
I like occasionally do, but like honestly not very often.
Yeah. So when you listen to audiobooks, there's like two different types of people. Do you listen to like it's sped up, or do you listen to it at normal speed?
No, normal pace.
That's what I do too.
I feel like the speeding up would give me anxiety.
That's what I felt like, because I tried it and I was like, oh gosh, like how am I supposed to remember all this stuff they're saying?
Well, and there was a book I was reading for work about ADHD in kids, and I like did that one a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Just because I was like getting the information and I was trying to finish it before a certain deadline. And it was fine, but like I think I would rather go back and listen to it at normal pace.
Yeah, I feel that for sure.
My brain needs time to let it soak.
Yeah. So I asked you what you listen to when you're sad. What do you listen to when you're happy, like music wise?
Okay. The song I was thinking of by Justin Bieber's Holy.
Okay.
And that is my go-to. That's a good one.
I love that you're just no shame, I love Justin Bieber, and I don't even care if you judge me.
I don't care.
I love that. Because that's the thing about music. It's like, music, if you like it, you like it. Like, it doesn't, like, there is no such thing as, like, oh, like, this is the right music.
And
like,
there's definitely music I don't like, but, like, I understand why other people would like it.
Exactly.
And I don't judge you for, liking it, you know?
Yeah.
So I never, hate on other music. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean anything.
Right.
So Holy by Justin Bieber. Maybe some Lizzo too.
Okay.
She's like a go-to, feel good a lot of the time.
I feel like I like that kind of music more in the summertime.
Yeah. Jolene's, Miley Cyrus's Jolene. That's a good
one of the best covers.
Yes, love
ever.
it.
It's so good.
Yeah. I like covers. I really like covers.
I do too.
Oh, my mind is keeps blanking on names, but Tamia's So Into You by, what is his name? He's on Community.
Oh, Childish Gambino?
Yeah, Childish Gambino. Absolute, favorite cover ever.
Wait, what's the song again?
So Into You.
Oh. When did he cover that song?
A
Was it
long
on
time ago.
YouTube or something? Or did he actually release it?
No, on YouTube. I think
Okay,
it was
that's
on
probably
the
why I've never heard
show.
it. I'll have to listen to that.
Yeah,
Cause who originally does that song?
Tamia. And then there's a remix with Fabulous in it too, and
I'm gonna
that's
have to
also
listen
good.
to that. I love
So
Childish
good.
Gambino.
Yes, he used to be like one of
I
my
haven't
favorites in
listened to him
rotation. Me too. He used to be like constant in like my normal rotation, but I haven't listened to him in a while.
See, we're gonna like have a whole new like
Yeah.
musical playlist now.
A little renaissance coming back.
I feel like when I'm happy, hip hop is my favorite to listen to.
Yeah.
For sure.
I like pop too, like a little bit more.
Yeah.
I'm not always like a pop person, but I feel like when it's like summer and I'm like feeling good, or I'm like hyping myself up for something, like going out,
Yep.
I'll put on some like maybe more pop music.
Yeah. Man,
That's
I
like
feel
my Ariana
now
Grande.
It's getting warm finally,
Yeah.
and I can feel the serotonin entering my body.
Yes.
Like,
Oh yes.
it's so funny because like this whole winter I've been pretty like isolated, I would say, like purposely though. Like I just didn't feel like being around people all the time.
Yeah.
Like I just needed like some space, and like I've been really exploring like more my creative side.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I need that space in order to be creative.
Yes.
But I also do need to like collaborate with other people and talk to other people in order to like reignite that sometimes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's been my thing lately, is like realizing how introverted I was in the wintertime, and like now feeling it like coming back. I'm like, oh, okay, now I want to actually talk to people and like do things and not be at home by myself all the time. But I don't know. I mean, I have a dog though. It's a little different.
Well,
like,
that's how I feel like living with a partner. It's like, and I work face to face with people all day, and so
Yeah.
it's like I get socialization, not like the same socialization, but like I see people,
Yeah.
and then I get to come home to a partner who I can like talk to, and like that's enough. But like going to like constant social gatherings like is so it's like too much.
exhausting.
Yeah, it's exhausting.
Yeah. We both have a social battery.
Yeah.
I think mine probably is a little bit longer than yours.
Oh,
but in
mine
the
is-
wintertime, I don't know. Like, I mean, the last time I was like the first one to leave when we were at Topgolf.
Yeah.
And I'm normally not the first person to leave. Like, I'm usually
I
the
am
last person to
always-
leave.
I am always the first person to leave. I like, you know, like when people are like, oh, who wants to start the train? I will start that train. Like, I am always one to dip out first.
I think, well, maybe somebody else left before me. I can't remember. But I was like one of the first people
Yeah.
to leave. Because I was like, I want to go to bed. And Dolly needs me.
No, I feel that.
I know it's different when you have a dog, too.
And I think too, getting older, like, anyone watching this, because you know we'll have millions of views. But like, if people knew me in high school and college, they'd be like, "Who is she?" Like, nah, this is not her. Because my social, and that's like, there's a whole lot to that. But like, I would be out constantly, and now I'm like, I just
want to stay home. I
Well,
have everything I need.
Well, and it's like, you know, I think I was going out to try to prove something or just
Yes.
try to like distract myself more so. And now I'm like, no, my self-care is like having time with myself, having time at home. And like,
Yep.
I like being out with people. I'm not saying I don't want to be out with you, but like, I am not like, I will be that quiet person in the corner after so long. So like, let me go home and recharge,
Yeah,
you know?
I just need a little reboot.
I pay attention to like what my mind and body needs more now, and I'm like okay with it.
That's what I've kind of gotten more in touch with too. And
Yeah.
I didn't realize, like, it's crazy, like, cause like it's Saturday night, and if you would have asked me like a couple years ago,
Yeah.
or like I guess before COVID, to do a podcast on a Saturday night, I'd be like, well, I have plans. Like, it's Saturday night, I'm going out and I'm gonna drink. Like, why are you not going out on Saturday night? And now that I don't do that anymore,
Yeah.
I'm like, I have so much more time. It's absolutely insane how much time I was spending just going out, because
Yeah.
once you go out, your whole night is gone.
Yeah.
And then the morning is gone too if you have a couple too many drinks.
Yeah.
And
it's
the
true.
whole rest of the day, pretty much, you're just gonna be a bum. So like now that I don't really go out, I mean, like we went to Topgolf, and like I'll go out for like birthday, you know, stuff like
Yeah.
that. But I'm not gonna go out regularly like I used to when I
Yeah.
was like drinking, and I wasn't even drinking that much, but I was like drinking enough to the point where I like have a hangover the next day, and where it was like ruining my day, like
Yeah.
ruining my time that I could be productive,
Mm-hmm.
or even just time that I could just chill, like, and just
Relax.
feel good.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing, like, I don't know. So I feel like now I have so much more time, and I've figured out what to do to fill that time so much better.
See, and I feel like I almost was like I'm slowed down in general in life because like when I was going out, I was literally working from like 6:30 a.m. to 2 a.m., you know,
Yep.
with school and different jobs. And then I would go out. And so I was just go.
Yep.
And now I'm like, I don't like want to do that. I don't have the energy to do that. And when you said it's Saturday and I was like, oh my God, like even doing like, I did 2 things today, y'all. Like I did book club, wild, at Breadco. And then, you know, came here to do the podcast. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so social and productive.
Yeah.
And like, again, you tell me that like, you know, a couple years ago, I would have been like, who is this? You know,
Yes.
like, I don't know. But to
100%.
me, I was like, oh my God, look at me being social and like doing things, you know? Because like a lot of my weekends are spent at home and I love that.
Same. And it's a mindset thing too. Like for a while it was so like Monday through Friday grind and then Saturday, Sunday party. Like there was no, or like Sundays, like maybe like meal prep laundry day, like Saturday, like Friday night, Saturday night, you're out. You're hanging out, you're being social, you're, you know, having a few drinks, you're having fun.
Yeah.
And then it gets to like be so repetitive that you have to like really like consciously flip your mindset to be able to like think of the weekends as more than just a way to get away from everything.
Well, and I think, you know, part of my switch came with too is like, well, I was working in the restaurant business, so like I would be going out at like Wednesday, Thursday, and like college too. Like when I was in college, you went out almost every night, and then I was still, after college, I was working in restaurants still, and so like you went out any night of the week until like 3 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Yeah. And when I started getting more into my career, it was like, I just can't. Like, I don't have the energy to do that anymore. But then I also noticed, like, especially when I was working in schools, it was like, that would drain me so much that, like, the weekends were almost just, like, trying to, like, get some type of energy back. And so when I started doing my private practice and I started making my schedule what fit for me, I now have more energy to go out and do things. So, like, I can go out to, like, dinner or lunch. Am I going out now is, like, place where I can sit and have a drink. you know,
if I
and,
can't
like,
sit down, don't invite me out.
and there must also be food. So it's
yes,
like,
food is a must.
you know, I had my, you know, working in the school schedule, like it did not work for me. It drained me. Now that I can kind of make a schedule that works for me, I have more energy to like, to socialize. Cause I think that was a big part too why I stopped going out as much cause I was just like exhausted. Now
Yes.
I have the energy to socialize when I want to.
100%. And having the freedom to create your own schedule, and like you'll never have the freedom to do whatever you want whenever you want because you always are going to have obligations and things going on, but being able to have that freedom of your schedule is worth, even if you have to take a pay cut, it's so worth it.
So worth it.
100%, because you can just live life, like you can you have more, like your brain just like works better. I feel like, at least for me. For some people though, they're not the same. Like I feel like there are people that are meant to be entrepreneurs and meant to like be, or just independent contractors, like people that are just doing their own thing. And then there's people that are meant to have a 9-to-5 job and be very structured. So.
Yes, and I think too, like, there's so much creativity and flexibility in 9-to-5s too, and for some people it does work really well. I just know for myself it was not working well.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. And I think a lot of that is probably going to change. Like, I think the landscape of like corporations and just how everything is, I think a lot of that's probably going to change because a lot more people are wanting that freedom and they're realizing that they can get it because they can do, you know, side jobs, they can freelance, they can do things that aren't a job. But I think a lot of companies are probably going to like start to catch on to that a little bit more and have more flexible schedules and options for people who maybe aren't meant for the structured 9-to-5.
Yes.
Because it is kind of a waste of talent if, you know, maybe somebody just, they're not a morning person. They don't like to get up early. They don't want to be at the office at 9 a.m. They want to be at the office at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
But they can work till 9 p.m. Like, there are certain people that are just built like that.
Yep.
And it's kind of a waste of talent to shove them into a 9-to-5 schedule and limit, you know, their success because you're kind of trying to force them to be somebody that they're not.
Well, and too, like, all the research that's been going on lately is showing, like, the 4-day work week and, like, even just, like, 6-hour work days versus 8-hour work days. Like, they're just showing that people are more productive, which makes sense.
Well, because, I mean, half the time when people are at work, they're not working the whole time.
And now when I'm at work, I am working the whole time. And it feels so good because I feel productive. I feel like I'm getting things done, and I don't feel trapped.
Yes.
You know, I feel like I'm coming here, I'm doing work, and I can leave, and, you know, I still have work to do outside of that, but at the same time, it's like, it just feels, I'm not trapped. Like, I can dedicate my time how I need to.
Yep, 100%. That is, like, the biggest thing is feeling trapped.
Yeah.
I always hated feeling stuck. I'm like, oh, how much longer do I have to be here?
Yeah,
And that's why I've always done well in jobs that, like, I'm not sitting down or staying in the same place all day. Like, that's why I like selling cars, because I was moving around all day. I was going out to the lot, and if I ever just, like, needed to get out, like, I would just go walk the lot.
Yeah.
And, like, I just had, like, more... It wasn't, like, sitting at a desk.
Yes.
Like, I was just doing stuff. I was interacting with different people, and I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of things I didn't like about selling cars, but that was one thing that I did like about it. Working 80 hours a week, not so much. But, yeah. I feel like that's just, like, the environment that I thrive in is, like, where it's flexible. There's action. Like, things are going on. It's just, like, I'm not just sitting there, like, when I worked at Nordstrom, it was so depressing because there was, like, no windows because it's the mall. It was on the second floor.
Yeah.
And I just would be, like, looking around, and, like, sometimes there would be nobody in the store. Like, there's slow days where it's, like, one person, and you're just, like, hoping they'll come over and buy something. You're like, please buy something.
And I'm like,
Yeah, and it's like, I just felt so bored and just, like, depressed, and I hated it.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, and it was, like, nothing to do with the job. It was just the environment. Like, I mean, I'm not really a big fashion expert, so, like, I don't even know how I ended up getting this job. But, yeah, it was not my vibe. Yeah. But, I don't know. That's
Do you feel like you're finding your vibe?
Yes.
Good.
Definitely. I think my vibe is I have to have, like, 10 million different things going on at once.
I can see that working for
you.
you.
And I know that doesn't, like, so many people are like, no, you need to focus on one thing. You can go all in on one thing.
I feel like that's so old school.
That's not me, though. Like, it's just not me. I need to have different things, because when I get frustrated with one thing, I need to have something else that I can occupy my brain and my time with. Yeah. That I won't be thinking about the thing that's going wrong. Yeah. So. And
I do think, like, it's really hard to put all of your eggs in a basket.
Yes.
Now, because, I mean, we saw COVID. We saw how, like, much your life can be flipped upside down with, you know, one tragedy or something going on in the world. So it is, like, it's scary, I think, for people our age to put all of your eggs in a basket. Even though I have, like, a decently solid career, there's other little side things that I am planning on doing or have been doing to, like, you know, to have an income, but also, again, to, like, keep myself, like, mentally, like, stimulated and, like, being able to have different, like, things to do that are work related, but it's also not just, like, my job. You know what I'm saying?
100%. And that's why I started the podcast. That's why I started the YouTube channel. That's why I started doing all this stuff, because I needed an outlet and I needed something to do. I don't care if I make money from any of this stuff. Yeah. And, like, I make a little bit from it, but not anything that's going to change your life. Like, it's not much. Yeah. But I didn't do it because I wanted to make money from it. I did it because I needed something to give me some fulfillment until I do get to the point in my career, whatever I end up making my main thing, like, I want that to be something that I'm so passionate about, that I love, and also still have these little things that I'm doing on the side that keep me motivated and keep me, like,
they
just
challenge
having
you.
Confidence in yourself too. Like, get out of your comfort zone a little bit.
Yeah.
So, because, like, sometimes when your job isn't going well, but it's like, oh, but my podcast is going really well, then it's cool because you're like, oh, I have this other thing I'm doing, so I'm cool. Yeah. Like, you don't beat yourself up too much when you have other things going on in your life. I mean, you can be proud of.
I'm a play therapist, so I'm all about, like, you know, what are your strengths, and, like, what's on paper doesn't say everything. And so by exploring your talents, by exploring your skills, that is a confidence boost, and it's a way to manage your anxiety, manage your depression, have interest, helps you socialize more. You know, like, it's good to have these other little side things going on.
Definitely. Yeah. And especially if you're like me, you have ADHD, you're creative, you're quirky, like, that's just my vibe. Like, I have so many interests that, like, but the problem is that I like to go deep on my interests.
Oh, that's ADHD.
Yeah, like, it's a problem. And I'm not on medication anymore. I haven't been on medication in, like, 1.5 years now. And it took me so long to get off medication. Like, I've been trying to get off medication for years. but I never felt like I got to the point where I was like confident enough that I could go off of it and be okay.
Yeah.
And now I'm like starting to just lean more into my ADHD.
Yes.
And use it to my advantage instead of using it as like a crutch.
And that's,
excuse.
what I try to teach kids and adults that I'm working with. It's like, okay, you know what this tells us? Like, it's telling us how our mind works. And like, what we need to figure out what works for us and what doesn't. Like, if medication is something that is working for you, great. Like, let's utilize it. Let's figure out like how we can put it into, your treatment plan and how that looks like so that you can do whatever you want. If you don't want medication, great too.
Right.
Let's find things that are gonna help you manage it and help you manage the other things that come along with ADHD. So it's, I don't know. It is really like finding what works for you. So ADHD or not though, like I feel like people do like, they don't give themselves like enough self-care time. And this is what we're talking about, self-care. It's like, have a hobby, have an activity, like, spend time on yourself.
You have to have something that you are proud of, I feel like. Something besides your job, besides your income, besides whatever. Oh, you bought a house.
Yeah.
Cool. And that's great. Like, it's a great accomplishment.
Yes.
Like, when you get to the point in your life where you can buy a freaking house, like, you're like, yeah, I freaking did that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, then what? Mm-hmm. You bought it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's not anything that's going to really, like, give you substance. Like, it's just a thing.
Our hobbies are, like, again, how adults play. And it's, like, that's what keeps your mind active. That's what keeps you, your head above water.
Definitely. Well, and I used to be, like, really into video games.
Oh, yeah.
And it was more when I was in, like, high school, middle school, or even elementary school. Like, I started playing video games when I was, like, really young, like 5 years old. Because my brothers were, like, addicted to them.
Yeah.
So we would play them. And I started playing Grand Theft Auto when I was so young. And I'm like, I should not be playing this game.
Yeah.
But anyways, I turned out okay. But yeah, I just feel like that actually helped me like think sharper, and it helped me be more creative and problem solving.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's something that people don't really talk about, because a lot of people think people that play video games are lazy, or like, like a lot of like I see online like girls saying like, oh, I would never date a guy that sits at home and plays video games all day, and it's like, I don't know, I'd rather have that than a guy that goes to the club all the time. Like, for real.
Where's Montel? In his office.
He's playing video games.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's funny when he plays video games too. He's always yelling, and it's pretty funny.
He's been pretty chill lately. And like, it's again a balance. Like, if you were consumed by this one thing, but like, everything's a balance.
I mean, obviously, Montel's not spending all of his free time playing video games. He has other things he's doing too. So it's like, it's cool. But that used to be something that I used to do that I feel like I want to start like doing again.
Getting back into? Oh, yeah. I recently got back into my version of gaming. The Sims. Yes, The Sims.
Dude, but I used to play The Sims too.
Oh, it was bad. I used to play, because
during COVID, I went crazy on The Sims.
I mean, growing up, like, we would fight each other for the computer. And, like, we download so many things, like, crash our computer so many times.
Oh, yeah. Because none of us had gaming computers.
Yeah.
Our parents didn't know what a gaming computer was.
No.
So we just used the regular computer that's not meant for gaming and then ruined it by playing all these games.
And again, mind you, the first, like, at-home computers that there were.
It used to take so long for everything to load. I think about that sometimes. I'm like, we are so spoiled.
Well, and just, like, I mean, how patient we were, like, you had to wait for it. Yeah, you would wait like 20 minutes, 40 minutes sometimes for stuff to load. Like, have dinner, come back. Like,
wild. Yeah, I remember we would just like sit there and stare at the screen, like, waiting.
Oh, speaking of music, this made me think of this. LimeWire. I got in so much trouble in high school because I had LimeWire on my computer, and we had laptops in high school. And at that time, not every school did.
Yeah.
And so they were like, they were still navigating it too. And my dad, who does not know how to work like technology, he wanted music, and so he would ask us to like burn him CDs, and I had all this music on my computer, and a lot of it was his. And I got called into the office, and they were like, because they could see what's on our computer, because they're like school computers, and they were like, this is illegal. And I was like, what? I knew it was illegal, but it's like pirating music, terrible, don't do it. But like, everyone was doing it back then. Yeah. And I just remember calling my dad and being like, this is your fault. And he's like, oh, crap.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I use a lot of LimeWire.
And Napster.
I mean, I was a kid. Like, I couldn't buy my own music. Like, I couldn't just go on iTunes, and I didn't have any money.
Yeah.
Like, so I had to do what I had to do.
Yeah.
But it's all good. Let's see. What else am I gonna ask you? This has been good so far. I'm loving it. Oh, let's talk about fitness.
Okay.
When's the last time you worked out? Did you work out today?
No, I did not work out today. I did some light yoga yesterday.
Well, that's good. At least you're staying moving.
Yeah. So I've just gotten back into like fitness. I got the personal trainer back in the gym, thanks to you.
You're welcome.
So I'm kind of like inching back into it, you know. I'm really bad with like motivation, I'm not gonna lie. And we've talked about this. I have like a lot of body aches, and that gets in the way a lot, and so just trying to deal with that. But yeah, my working out, could be going better.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, I've had phases like that too. It took me a while to get to the point where I was really consistent.
Yeah. And I like the feeling, and I need to be more consistent, but I am still struggling with like gym anxiety. And we talked about this a bit, you know, like, but it's more so like, I don't care what other people think necessarily, but like I go up to a machine and I am like playing with the knobs and I still can't figure it out. So then I just like walk away awkwardly because I'm like, I can't figure this out. And like, that is my biggest struggle is like, I don't want to break something, which I'm sure it's hard to break, but like, and I don't want to be taking up space that someone else could be using. I always feel like, oh, someone's waiting for that, which is like an area that I can grow in, and like confidence and like, oh no, like I deserve that space too, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, the machines scare me.
Get that. I mean, even for me, like, because I work out at my gym here, and then I also work out at club. Mm-hmm. So I think sometimes like there's machines that just are set up a little bit differently than what I'm used to. So even for me, like somebody who obviously I've been working out for a long time, I still like sometimes I'll be like, oh my god, I hope I don't mess this up, like I don't break this. And like I think one time I don't know, something was like broken already and I thought I broke it and I was like, oh my god. So yeah, I mean I get the same thing. And also like even if you've been working out for years, like you're probably still gonna get gym anxiety. Yeah. Because you're gonna have days where you just don't feel confident and you just are like, I just don't really want people to like see me working out. Like I get that part of it for sure. Because for me, like when I work out here, it's pretty private. Yeah. And that helps a lot.
When I had an apartment with a gym, like I loved that. I love the privacy of it. And I guess too, I'm also scared of like my form being incorrect and someone randomly coming up to me and trying to correct me. And I'm a nice person, but I also like don't approach me if I didn't ask. You know what I'm saying? Like
I can't stand when people do, and people don't do that.
That's
really
why I have a personal
often.
trainer. She can correct me.
Exactly. Yeah, because also you don't know if that person even knows what they're talking about.
Well, and two, it's like you don't know my body. Like maybe my back or knees are messed up, and like this is a modification that I learned works for me. Yes. You know, like don't come at me.
Yeah, I can't stand that. Or even, like, that doesn't really happen as much in the gym anymore, but online, it happens
can see that.
All the time. Mm-hmm. All the time. I mean, like, you can't post anything without somebody giving you some sort of, like, critique, and I've had people on all kinds of stuff that I've posted, and I'm like, dude, my technique is pretty good. Like,
and I didn't ask.
Yeah, and I also don't care.
Yeah. No, thank you.
But there's also, like, things that, for a while, I didn't really do. I mean, I did upper body, but I didn't really get into it like I did with, like, leg day. Mm-hmm. Like, leg day, I was, like, going hard. Yeah. And then upper body day, I'm like, okay. Like, but now I'm starting to actually, like, get serious about it and, like, because I want to get stronger in my upper body. And so now I'm, like, kind of learning new techniques. Like, I haven't even started bench pressing yet. Mm. And that's something that I want to do this year, that I want to like actually start taking more seriously, is my bench press. But I started doing like overhead press, and I started doing just like different things that like incline press with dumbbells and stuff like that. And so I just, I don't know. I didn't feel confident when I first like started doing that again, because I'm like, oh, what if I do this wrong? Yeah. Because even if you've been working out for a while, there's always going to be different exercises that you just don't know how to do, that you've never done before. Yeah. So the first time you do it, you're not going to do it right. Yeah, yeah. And if you do, that's great. But 9 times out of 10, you're probably not.
I love an upper body workout. Like, I I don't look forward to leg day, and your recent post.
I'm the same way now.
I don't know, like it feels so good to work my upper body, and I like the results, and I like the feeling of the lower body too, but I think the lower body is much more difficult for me, so I'm like, ugh.
It is. It's more, you burn more calories too. It's more exhausting.
Yeah.
That's why I like kind of like the push-pull leg split that I was doing. So like before I was doing 6 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
I was working out. That was like before I changed my split. Before I got sick.
Yeah.
That was fun. So I was doing a push day, which is like chest, shoulders, triceps, and then a pull day, which is back and biceps, and then I would do legs, and I would do that twice.
See, that consistency is so hard for me. So, like, you saying that, I'm like, go, girl, you already got it. Like,
well, now I'm doing upper lower. So I'm only doing 4 days a week. So I'm doing upper lower.
Okay. That
and
sounds
so
like much more manageable.
It is. And I needed that 6 days a week for a little bit because for my mental health.
Mm.
Okay, we're back.
We are back.
What was I talking about? My mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So working out 6 days a week, I feel like was good for me because I needed something to look forward to every day when I wake up.
Yeah.
And I know for most people that is not what they look forward to.
I was literally just being like, okay. But you know what? That's great. That's good.
But it's like a hobby for me.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the difference between working out and training. Like, I feel like I'm not training for anything. But I'm training to get better. I'm training to get stronger. I have a goal.
See, and I'm the opposite. I feel like I like the idea of thinking that I'm training for something rather than like just working out.
Yeah.
For me, I'm training, for a couple different things. And so for me, it's like that motivates me because I'm thinking of the end goal. If I'm just working out to working out and like having a better body, like it doesn't do it for me. Like that's
Same.
not my like go-to for working out, but like these other goals that I have for working out, like those are important to me, and so that is why I continue to show up, even if some days it's once a week, or some weeks it's once a week, and then other times it's like 5 days a week, but like to work out just to work out like does not motivate me enough.
Same. Yeah, because for me, like I'm not training for a competition. I'm not training to be a bodybuilder. Like I'm not training to do any of that.
Yeah.
But I have very specific short-term goals, and then I also have like a long-term, just like, I think it's more driven by fear of like what will happen if I like let myself go. Not necessarily with what I look like, but how I feel.
Well, and that's where I'm at right now in life because growing up, I was always thin, always athletic, and I have been acting like I had the same metabolism that I did at 16 and my body will just bounce back, and I've been running into like different issues with my body just getting older, and like your body needs different things at different points in your life, and so for me that's like a big motivator. Like I want to feel good in my like 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, Yes. I don't want to have achy joints. I don't want to feel weak, and so for me that is like a long-term goal that I look forward to.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and just like I feel like when I was younger, I didn't really care about like longevity or anything like that. Like that was the least of my worries. And then once I turned like 25, then I was like, I need to take care of myself.
Yeah.
I need to take care of, like, it's not even an option. I'm like, I have to. Like, if I don't go to the gym, I don't feel good. Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't have to go every day.
Yeah.
But if I don't go for a couple weeks, then I just like feel like a bum, and I just feel I don't have as much energy, I'm not as motivated, I'm not as confident. Like it just affects so many different things.
Well, and I think it's like another form of like real true self-care of like, I can protect my peace, I can work on my mental health, but if I'm not also taking care of my body, like is that really doing justice to yourself? Like again, you don't have to be working towards a certain size, you don't have to like work on a number on the scale, but like for me, it took a really long time for it to get into my head of like, if you love yourself and care about yourself, like you can't just mentally love and care for yourself, like you also physically have to love and care for yourself as well.
Yes, definitely. And I think people can see that too. Like if you take care of yourself, people do like treat you a little bit differently, or they look at you a little bit differently, like, oh, you take care of yourself, that's good.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's also like kind of like when you meet somebody and they work out and like you don't know this person, you've never seen this person, you're like, it's an instant connection that you have, and you're like, oh, we both care about ourselves and we take care of ourselves. That's cool.
And when I hear you saying that, I'm also thinking like, you know, it's putting consistency to yourself and it's setting boundaries for yourself, which then also helps you set boundaries for others.
Yes.
And, you know, a boundary with working out may be like, yeah, I don't want to go 2 weeks without working out because that's not caring for my body. Yeah. And if you can set those boundaries with yourself, it helps you set all types of other boundaries like with other people in your life, which creates healthy relationships.
100%. And I feel like the gym is the one area of my life that I've really been able to find structure, like solid structure, and it's helped me build structure in other areas of my life too, because I like the way that I like to do fitness, I like to have a program. Like I like to have 8 weeks, here's what I'm going to do, here's my goal for the 8 weeks, here's what I'm going to focus on, here's my workouts all lined out, like here's what I'm going to do. And I like having that structure. It keeps me not even motivated, just disciplined.
Yeah.
And because I feel like...
I think that's like a big part to it is discipline.
It is, 100%. Yeah. And you need the motivation to get started, but you need the discipline to stay consistent.
Yes.
That's what it is. Because if you don't stay consistent, then you're just constantly going to have to rely on the motivation.
And that's like where I'm struggling. Like, I need to get that consistency, and, you know, I'm getting better and better at it, but it is hard. It's I'm not going to lie, it's hard.
It is. And it was so... I used to get so frustrated with the gym. And I think it was because I was just doing cardio. I was doing too much. It was hard to recover from.
Yeah.
And I was also going out and having fun, and like it wasn't like my main priority was not my health.
Yeah.
Because I was young and healthy and I never had any problems.
Exactly.
And then I got diagnosed with lupus and I was like, oh,
yeah.
Okay, I'm not invincible.
Yeah.
So then I feel like that was the push that I needed though to get consistent, because once that happened, I was like, oh, I have to do this.
And I feel like that's the phase I'm entering into. It's like, yeah, you can't just like live life and be good. Like, you have to put in the work.
Yeah, you do, 100%. And just, I don't know, I feel like there's a fine line between where it becomes like an obsession, like an addiction.
Yeah. And
where it's just consistency. Because if it is a truly like, you're going too hard and you're going to the gym every single day, you're doing multiple workouts a day, like, unless you're an athlete, like, there's no reason to do that.
Yeah.
Like, you're overtraining.
Yes.
And I feel like overtraining doesn't get talked about enough, because the whole thing is, like, trying to get people to get to the gym, not to get them out of the gym. Yeah. But sometimes people need to leave the gym.
I mean, again, in my field, that does come up, because it is, like, people are thinking, like, you know, no, I'm healthy, like, I'm going to the gym every single day. It's like, is that healthy? Like, oh, and if your workout gets interrupted, like, you freak out. It's like, nope, okay, like, no, we're too rigid. Like, everything has to be flexible.
Definitely. And that's why I don't schedule, like, a specific time of each day when I'm going to work out.
We try to, like, make a time to go together, and it's like, we just got to go when the timing's right for us. It's like, yeah, it'd be nice if we could keep it on schedule and see each other, but it's like, that just doesn't, in reality, work.
Neither of us are like that.
No.
Yeah. Because I also like to change the time I work out quite a bit. Like, the last time I was doing more, like, evening workouts, and I was going, like, late at night. And that was kind of fun for a while. Like, I'd never really, like, went to the gym, like, late at night like that. Yeah. So I was like, well, this is kind of cool. There's different people here. Like, it's kind of a different vibe. Yeah. And then now I'm going, like, kind of, like, mid-morning, I would say. Like,
so have I.
I don't go right when I get up.
Yeah.
I like to kind of, you know, have my breakfast, take Dolly for a walk, and, you know, maybe get some work done in the morning. Like, do something a little bit in the morning. And then once I kind of get going... Because I feel like I'm a slow starter.
Me too.
In the morning.
I learned that for myself as well. I can get going if I need to, but, like, I do much better when I don't have to.
Well, that's why when I was working 9 to 5, I had to wake up at, like, 4 a.m.
Yeah. Because
that was the only way to, like, get into the day.
So,
like, get going, get to the gym, and then it was, like, a whole ordeal. So, yeah, those days are gone. But... Yeah.
Well, go us for figuring out what's working for us.
Exactly. And it takes
trying
so
our best.
It takes
does.
So long to figure it out.
And I think people don't talk about that either. It's like, okay, I got my gym membership, now let's get into it. And it's like, no, it really does take a really long time, a lot of trial and error to see what works for you.
Yeah, and you have to go through that, I think.
Yeah.
If you try to do what other people are doing, you can kind of, like... I don't know, you run into issues with that.
That's like, again, I'm loving the trainer I'm working with, because she constantly reminds me, like, you're not 16, you're not, you know, and, like, You know,
Right.
you see these videos of people, like, they work towards that. They didn't just pop in the gym and, like, could do all these things.
Yes.
And this is also what you're seeing on video. You know, it's not, you know, like, there's a lot of work that goes on outside of this as well.
Yes. And that's why I, like, it's so hard sometimes with social media now with fitness because it's good to consume fitness content because it does motivate you and you can learn things because you're like, oh, that's a cool exercise. I need to try that.
Yes.
And it also shows you that you can do it because, you know, there's somebody like you that's doing it.
Yeah.
But there's also that part where you have that comparison factor.
Yeah.
And, like, sometimes I do that to myself. Not so much with, like, the way that I look because I feel like that... I'm past that.
Yeah, go us. Like, it's like, you
like
know.
trying not to fall off my chair. Yeah, like, I
That
don't
also
care.
takes time, too.
It
but-
does. I used to care so much about what I looked like. And I just didn't feel, like, confident, like, in my body. I didn't, like, I don't know. I feel like I definitely have gotten more confident. It's all because I, you know, started getting consistency in the gym.
Yeah.
That was the main thing for me. And now... yeah, I just, like, don't care. I don't care what I look like. I mean, there's some days where I'm like, okay, like, I look good. But, like, I'm never down on myself about it.
Yeah.
I'm always positive about it.
And I think part of that is, like, you're more in control now of your body. Where before, you're just kind of like, whatever is happening.
Right.
And, like, no matter if, like, again, no matter what your body looks like, when you're out of control of it, you like it a lot less. When you feel like you're a little more in control of yourself, a little more empowered, like, you're going to like yourself better.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like it's a growth thing, too. Like, something that I just had to grow
It's
up.
maturity.
The low self-esteem and, like, just the constant, like, picking myself apart. Like, I don't do that. But, like, what I do struggle with still is, like, when I'm seeing, like, other, like, you know, fitness influencers and stuff on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or whatever it is, and I'm like, oh, they're squatting, you know, 200 pounds.
Yeah.
And I'm, like, stuck at 115. And I'm like, how are they doing that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, Bree, you just started lifting, like, 2 years ago.
Yeah. Well, that's, like, my trainer.
Chill.
I'm like, why can't I do this? She's like, girl, you literally just got back into the gym, like, a couple weeks ago. Like, calm down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but... she's like, no.
Yeah, because even if you have been doing it for years, if you stop for a while and then you try to do the weight you were doing before, you're going to hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to be able to... well, you might be able to do it, but for the most part, probably not. You probably have to work your way back up.
Yeah.
And that can be hard, too. Like, people who... like, man, I can't imagine, like, being, like, a power lifter or bodybuilder, getting injured really bad, and then having to take so much time off and then trying to get back in. Because your whole identity is based on that. Like, how much weight you can lift or how big your muscles are. Like, it's all based on that. And I think that's, like, part of the reason I don't really want to compete in anything like that is because I know how I am. And I feel like I would just get so in my head. And, like, especially with, like, bodybuilding, I feel like I would... you know, probably, like, start picking myself apart again, like, with... like,
Is that something that interests you?
I mean, it does, but I definitely, like, if I were to do bodybuilding, I definitely would want to go the natural route. Like, I'm not about to put myself through, like, you know, like, getting a bunch of PEDs and stuff. Like, no, thank you.
Because I was going to say, you know, if you are working on your mental health and you're aware of these things, like, maybe it could be the time for you or will be the time for you to get into it if it's something that you're interested in.
I think eventually I do want to do some type of competition.
Yeah.
Of something. I don't know what exactly it's going to be, but I'm a competitor. Like, I'm competitive. And I love to compete. And I think it's something that I do want to do eventually. I don't know what lane I want to go in, though.
Yeah.
I don't know what I want to do. But if I did bodybuilding, it would have to be natural.
Yeah.
Which isn't very popular.
Well, that's exciting to have, like, you know, a future, like, idea or goal out there, too.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea of it, but I also know what happens when you get that lean and you do, like, there is, like, the body dysmorphia factor and all that kind of stuff that goes into it. And I just am like, I don't know.
You got to know yourself. Yeah, like, you know.
Yeah, because I struggled with that. Like, I struggled with body dysmorphia when I was younger. Like, I don't know. Like, I thought I had to be so skinny. Like, I was pretty skinny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought I had to be skinnier, and that's what terrifies me.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was a size, like, 000 for the longest. And I remember when I got to a size 2, this dude I was talking to, like, made it such a big deal. And, like,
really?
Yes, you know. And I was like, and it was because I started working out. Is the thing, it's not even like...
I've gained a lot of weight since I started working out.
Yeah, and
like
I'm
at
just
least
like
20, 25 pounds.
And now to think like back about that I felt crappy about going from a size like 00 to a 2, like that like blows my mind, and it makes me sad that like, you know, of course I know people experience that, and it's like that's one thing like I wish we could like shatter, but it's something that people go through, unfortunately.
It is, and it's funny because now I actually kind of get excited when I start moving up in sizes, because I'm like, oh, that means I'm making progress.
Yeah.
Because it's true, like, I don't know, it does suck though because you have to buy all new clothes, but
Yeah, I mean, does that suck? Like,
I mean, it's an excuse to go shopping. But yeah, I don't know, that's a big thing for me. So like, how, I guess, like, what style of training do you do in the gym?
LOL. I'm still figuring that out. So, like, with my trainer, again, I have IBS, and, like, a lot of the lower body stuff puts a lot of pressure on my intestines, and it just, like, doesn't work for me. So, right now, I am very slow and steady, doing a lot of, like, we've been doing lower and upper, but, like, just slow weightlifting, stuff like that, things, and like just paying a lot of attention to my body and how it's feeling. But like, I don't know, because I don't know anything about like working out for real, but like I would say we're just slowly moving and seeing what works for me, and when it works for me, pushing myself and like pushing myself to the point where it's like, oh, this is uncomfortable, but it feels good uncomfortable, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And then, but I can also be honest and be like, nope, like this does not feel good, and she's like, all right, let's stop it, let's try something else.
Yeah.
And so right now I'm very much in like a trial and error period.
I was in that period for a long time.
Yeah.
So I know exactly what you're talking about, and I thought it was a me problem.
I keep saying that. And she's like, it's not you, like, you know, this is very normal. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. And it was because I think in the beginning I was doing a lot more cardio, because like when you look online and you try to find workouts, or even if you ask people, like, what are people going to suggest? Cardio. Because that's what most people know.
I think it's the least intimidating thing in the gym. You know what I'm
100%.
saying? Like, and so it's a very easy go-to.
Yes. And I think it's good to do cardio.
Yeah.
But only doing cardio is like...
It doesn't do much for you.
It's hard.
Yeah.
And that was the problem, is like, it's not even just cardio, but like intense cardio. And so I was doing like HIIT workouts. I was doing, you know, circuit training. I was doing...
Which I like all those in moderation.
Yes, in moderation, for sure. And I was doing, you know, kickboxing, or like, well, cardio kickboxing, not like real kickboxing. Eventually I started boxing, like, for real. But that was hard to recover from too, honestly. It's so intense. It's so intense.
We went to that one boxing class together with Catherine's, and I was pretty sore the next day.
So was I, actually. So was I, honestly. Yeah. But yeah, like I started doing stuff like that, like for a long time. That was all I did. So like I started working out about 8 years ago, and up until the last 2-3 years, I was just doing like intense cardio. And then now I've gotten to the point where I'm pretty much focusing on weightlifting. But what I realized when I switched from cardio to focusing more on weightlifting was that I realized that it was just like easier for me to do without being in pain. And I don't know.
So like I'm having a lot of issues with the joints in my ankles, and so like doing cardio, like we usually start with light cardio, but like that, my ankles get so swollen after, and like I'm struggling with that. And so like, as much as like I know it's necessary, like I prefer weightlifting right now, because that feels, I don't know how bodies work and like that, but like the cardio hurts my body.
That's exactly what happened to me.
And the weightlifting feels more controlled. I can, you know, adjust the weight. I can do different things to do it to where my body isn't screaming.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I thought it was a me problem. Because I was like, oh, I'm not tough enough for this. Like, I need to be more resilient.
Yeah, or like why isn't my body getting it together? And just like, because we need to stretch it, we need to work it. Like,
you need to build the strength, and you need to build the mobility and the range of motion and all that good stuff.
All of that is trash for me right now. That's what we're working on.
That's okay. You'll get there. I mean, I wish I would have recorded like some of my old like workout video, or like workout sessions, and got it on video, because I would love to just like see the difference between then and now. Like, I have some older stuff, but it's still pretty recent. It's within the last few years. I don't have anything from like a long time ago, and I just like wish I could see it so I could show people like it's okay to be here.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's okay. You'll get here.
And I think that's what I love about my trainer, because she keeps, like, she's just so positive, and she's just like, don't get down on yourself. Like, this is where you're at right now, and, like, that's okay. You're not going to be here forever. And I'm like, you're right. And I was like, that's what I tell my clients. So, like, why, like, take the advice yourself, you know?
Well, and it's good. Like, as a trainer, I think it's important to do that. Like, to be realistic with people, but also be positive and be encouraging. Like, you know, don't make people feel like they're weak or like they're not good enough. Like, I don't know.
So I've worked with, like, trainers in the past and physical therapists, and they've always just been like, well, you need to catch up. You need to catch up. And this is the first time I've been with a trainer who has listened to what I'm experiencing and then accommodating towards that. And not, like, accommodating to a point of, like, babying me or however you want to say it, but, like, they are listening to, like, what I can and can't handle, pushing me to a point that I can handle, but I don't feel like I'm disappointing them, and disappointing in a way of, like, okay, well, they need me at this level or else they don't know how to work with me, basically. Right. And, like, she's okay with going slower, and that feels nice, and that motivates me instead of just being like, well, screw it, you know?
Yep. And also just, like, resting in between your sets, I feel like is underrated.
And stretching, and, like, we've talked about this too, like, taking time to really stretch.
Yeah, foam roll after your workout. I do that after every workout.
The Theragun.
It makes such a big difference. Oh, I need to do that tonight, actually. I am like, I don't know, my legs, they linger. Like, the soreness lingers in my legs.
My legs are so tight.
Yeah, I need to just get in there and just get
in there,
moving around. Like,
get in there.
Yeah, it's, but I did. You know, the ice bath really helps with the soreness, though. So I've been doing that pretty consistently. Like, I did it before you came over. And it just kind of gives me that extra little boost that I need, I feel like. Especially with recovery. Because I am, like, pushing myself in the gym right now. So I need that recovery.
Yeah.
But I don't... So I used to think that you have to do it, like, after the workout for recovery. But you're actually not supposed to do that.
Oh.
So you're supposed to do it before. Because otherwise I think it can, like, because it decreases inflammation, so I think it can prevent muscular hypertrophy if you do it after a workout.
Oh, okay.
But if you do it before, it's cool.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
I used to do it, like, when I first started doing it, like, a couple years ago, I used to do it after, like, I would go to sparring, and I would do it after that, or I would do it after a workout. But I do think it helps the workout if you do it before the workout.
I can see that.
Yeah, you feel more, like, motivated.
Doesn't
like,
it do something with, like, your circulation, too?
It probably does.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not gonna act like I'm a scientist and, like, try to explain it, but it probably does.
Yeah.
I would imagine, because I do feel like my blood flow is, like, just things are moving. Like, things are feels better. Everything just feels better after I do it.
That's the point. That's why we're doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Have you ever done ice bath?
No.
I feel like I'm, like, with ice bath, like most people are with air fryers.
So I went to the spa in Mexico where it was definitely the experience of, like, hot to cold and like doing that, and I absolutely loved it. Like, you kind of did like a sauna, and then you go into this, like, basically a big ice bath type of thing, like this ice pool, and then you go out and do, like, go into a different sauna, and, like, it was so revitalizing and just, like, felt so good.
See, these are the things that, like, I kind of wish, like, I was rich so I could, like, do
Girl,
stuff like that.
Guess how much this cost?
A lot?
No.
How much?
Like $109.
But it's only for one time, right?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. I would want to do it, like, every day.
I know. That's, like, some of these things, like, to be consistent with it, it can get expensive.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to maintain that, so.
Luckily, I have a bathtub, so
yeah.
I just put some ice in it. And, like, I don't know, that's probably not, like, the official way to do an ice bath, but it's, like, it works.
Yeah.
It works. It's cold. There's water. There's ice. There's a tub. So we're good.
I think it works.
Yeah. And, it, like, I mean, I don't know. I think eventually I'll probably need to add, like, a little bit more ice to make it, like, cold enough. But I think the fact that I'm not doing it every single day is kind of, like, helping me not get so used to it.
Yeah.
So I think I do need to take, like, maybe like a couple days off of it a week.
Yeah.
But so I've just been doing the ice bath like a little bit longer than
What
I
is this
normally do.
face that she has right now?
She's just, she's a little princess. That's really
It's
what
like
she
the
is.
cutest little smile.
She's so sweet. Dolly woke up from her nap and she's ready to go.
She's wanting some love.
She really loves to snuggle.
She
Sweetest.
does.
She's the sweetest dog I've ever had or ever met, really.
So sweet.
She's such a sweetie. Yep. For those of you who don't know, Dolly is my dog. She's almost a year old, and she's a Doberman and American Pit Bull mix. So, she's the sweetest dog you'll ever meet.
Look at this.
She just loves. That's all she does. Her only emotion is love.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, since Dolly's awake, I guess we should end this.
Yeah.
But it's been fun.
It has been fun. Thanks
I
for
feel like
having
it
me.
flowed more naturally than I expected.
It was nice.
It's kind of I don't know, because this is the first time I've had a guest on, so I was I don't know how this will go, and I didn't want to have it too structured. We talked about this earlier. I didn't want to have too much structure. I wanted to just flow naturally.
Yeah.
I feel once we kind of got going, it was pretty easy to do.
It was.
So it's fun. Good times. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening.
Thanks.
Those of you guys who are the 12 people that listen to this. Thank you guys. We appreciate it. Yeah, so I do have some more guests planned. So the next few episodes, I should be having some more guests on and do more fun stuff like this. But a lot of the guests will probably be virtual, so it won't be this kind of experience where we're sitting in my kitchen counter and my dog is licking Emily. But yeah, I will have more guests on, so stay tuned. But thank you guys, and I will talk to you again next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.